What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to be discussing and I'm going to be going through all the current skincare products, all the current hair products, and all the beard products that I use on a day-to-day basis. I shot a video like this a while ago, and that was way back in the days of the long hair. Ever since then, I've had some questions come in and I've had a few people ask me what I'm doing differently now and what products I use. I'm going to be going through all of that in this video. So with that being said, let's start off with hair products, because I think that that is going to be the most interesting place to start. Let's start off by discussing shampoo, because I think that shampoo is largely going to be the most important product when it comes to determining your overall hair health, your overall hair condition, and really just maintaining a good quality head of hair. This year, I'm going to be 33 years old, and unlike when I was in my 20s, the main goal now of all my hair care is really to keep it for as long as possible. Touch wood, I'm not experiencing any degree of hair loss at the moment, and I like to think that some of that probably comes down to the hair routine that I've got. So there's two shampoos that I recommend, and there's two shampoos that a lot of other YouTubers recommend when it comes to preventing hair loss. Number one is Regenipure. So this is a very expensive hair product. It's a very effective hair product, but it's one that will set you back a little bit. So I tend to interact and alternate the Regenipure with this one, which is Nizoral, a much cheaper version. Both Nizoral and Regenipure have an ingredient called ketoconazole in it, and ketoconazole prevents DHT forming on the scalp. And of course, for those of you that have done your research, you'll know that DHT is the root of hair loss. And I think whenever you're tackling hair loss, the best way is prevention rather than cure. So whilst I'm not experiencing any hair loss at the moment, I'm beginning to use hair products that will stop that, hopefully before it even needs to become something that I need to try and reverse. Occasionally, I'll also use this hair product, which is of course the Waterman's Grow Me shampoo. Really effective. I used it a lot when I was growing out my hair, and as you can see now, my hair's getting a little bit longer, so I'm beginning to grow it out a little bit again. I always think it works, and I always think it leaves your hair smelling nice and feeling nice. Again, a little bit expensive, but it is definitely a product that I would recommend. After I've shampooed, I then use this, which is a very minor keratin treatment. I tend to use this really just to maintain the overall hair condition, maintain the overall hair health, and I really just tend to use it just because I think it leaves my hair feeling a lot softer, which then in turn makes it a lot easier to style. And then finally, I'll use a very mild conditioner. So in this case, I use a tea tree one, very mild, doesn't really tend to do much apart from really just condition the hair in a very gradual, basic way. So, generally speaking, I wash and condition my hair every other day. Some people may say that that's too frequently, but when you're preventing hair loss and you're using DHT preventing products, every other day is really going to be the sweet spot. So it may seem a lot, but I think it is a very important thing to do in order to prevent hair loss. When it comes to styling, my styling routine is actually largely pretty basic. So, what I'll generally tend to do will be to use some of this, which is a very basic sea salt spray. I'll just spray it through the hair, and then largely I'll tend to just scrunch dry my hair with my fingers or a towel, and then I'll just let it dry naturally. If I want to put a little bit of volume into it, I'll just use a blow dryer and do the same process, but I would largely say that it doesn't really seem to be anything that actually needs to be done. And then if I really want to style it, so if I'm going out or I'm meeting people or I want to look my best, occasionally I'll use this, which is Dude the Styling Wax. Again, a very basic, non-shine, matte finish type product, which tends to leave my hair looking pretty refreshed, pretty styled, but not greasy. And it's very easy to wash out as well. So, as you can see, hair products are largely pretty basic, but they're very much geared towards the same thing, which is preventing hair loss. And I think in a few months' time, I'll really continue to discuss whether I've actually noticed any difference in terms of the hair loss prevention. Having a skincare regime is one thing that can make any guy instantly that little bit more attractive. And it's one of those things that has really big payoffs for actually not a lot of effort. My skincare regime, again, largely very basic, and again, one very, very clear purpose. I want to keep my skin looking as young as possible for as long as I can. So, first product that I use on a day-to-day basis is this L'Oreal Revitalift Anti-Aging Moisturizer. Always leaves my skin feeling really smooth, always leaves my skin feeling really, really conditioned, and it's actually one of those things that I think has actually made my skin look and feel a lot smoother during my time using it. If I leave the house, even on a day where it's not particularly sunny, which, as I'm sure all my guys in the UK will know, is pretty much never at the moment, I will put on a very basic bit of SPF factor 30. Again, for the same reason, we just want to keep that skin looking as young and as smooth as possible for as long as we can. I know that you can buy skincare products that have an SPF in it, but if you actually look at it ingredient versus ingredient against a product that doesn't have any SPF in it, you're paying a lot more really just to have that SPF put in. So I think it's much cheaper to use an SPF differently. So by differently, I mean using SPF just from a sunscreen like that. The other thing that I use, and unfortunately I've just run out so I don't have the bottle to show you, is I use retinol skincare cream at night, 4 or 5 times a week. Similar process, helps with the cell regeneration in the skin, and actually one of the only skincare products that's actually proven to have any benefit in reversing aging. I've used that for about 6 months, so probably a little bit too early to say if I'm really seeing the result, but the early signs are good and the research absolutely backs that up. The only other thing that I'll use on a day-to-day basis if I'm leaving the house is this Gucci Guilty cologne, or Gucci Guilty Black cologne. Really nice, smells really, really good. And my view whenever it comes to colognes or whenever you're buying them is just pick them up when you're at the airport. They're a lot cheaper. There's a much bigger wide range of choice which you can try out at that moment in time. And I think it's really, really basic, but cologne is definitely something that all guys should use. And I usually use about 2 to 3 sprays, so I don't really tend to go particularly heavy on it. And now the final part of my day-to-day routine, and that is of course beard care. So currently I'm growing my beard back out. I've kind of alternated between a shorter beard, minor stubble, and now this, which I want to become a fuller beard, which will maybe be a little bit longer than this, but not hugely significant longer. The look that I always like when it comes to hair and facial hair is when the sides of the hair blend into the beard. It's doing that at this moment in time, but both the side is a little bit longer than I would like, and the beard is a little bit longer than I like. So when I next go to the barber shop and I get that shaped up, it's gonna look a lot better. I would say that I have above average beard genetics just in terms of the fact that there's not really any places where my beard is particularly patchy. The only place where there is a degree of patch is that little spot just there, which may be quite hard to see, but I notice it sometimes. So I've been playing around with for a while and using Minoxidil or Regain, or Rogaine I believe that it's called, on my beard. I have to be honest and say that I probably don't need this just because I do have relatively decent facial hair genetics. So whether this is effective, I don't know. I generally don't know how much of a difference it's made. All I can certainly say is that this patch here becomes a little bit less noticeable the longer I grow my beard. That could be down to the Regain, or that could actually be down to just my general facial hair. The other thing that I use as well is this beard moisturizer. Now, this is for face, but this also works really well when you just rub it in your beard. It always smells really good. In fact, it's one of those things that I always feel a lot more attractive when I wear, just because it's one of those things that you can smell on yourself, which feels really good. So again, I wouldn't say that this is essential, and I think if you've got the right moisturizer, you probably don't need to worry too much about something like that. But sometimes I'll use that, and I'll use that more in the evenings if I don't need to put on the anti-aging moisturizer. Then the final thing that I'll use, and again, I don't use this every single day just because it can be quite sticky and quite a lot of effort, as weird as that sounds to actually use, is this American Crew Beard Balm. So some of you guys will know when your beard gets a little bit longer, it gets a little bit more itchy. This is probably the best thing that I've found to stop it getting itchy. But really for me, the benefit of this, when I think about it, you just feel like an absolute weapon when you put it in your beard. You really do. The smell is incredible, your beard feels really smooth, and you just generally just feel like an absolute weapon, and you go out feeling super attractive. Obviously, of course, that feeling sometimes changes when you actually get out, but the moment before you go out and you're putting that on, you always feel really, really good about yourself. So I probably don't use it on a day-to-day basis just because I want to have a better association with that, and a positive association, and one that I make when it comes to going out. So that's it. That's my skincare, that's my hair care, and that's my beard care. I've shown you a lot of products. Obviously, of course, I don't use these every single day, and I've also shown you a wide range of products too. But as I talk you through this, you definitely do not need all of this, and there are some days when I probably use a third of the things that I've just discussed. In honesty, when it comes to getting ready most mornings, it probably takes me about 3 to 5 minutes overall, which I think is a pretty sweet spot. It's enough time to make a little bit of effort to look good, but it's not so much time that it really disrupts on my day. So that's it. I genuinely hope you guys have got a lot from this video. I really, really hope that you've enjoyed it. And as I say every single time, if you like this video, please can I ask you to click like and subscribe down below. If you really liked it, I am also offering one-on-one coaching at the website also down below. But as always, guys, nothing but love. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.